So I broke it up into two parts. There's early access, and then there's after the game came out. So number one, minimal collaborations. So one of the best ways to grow as a content creator is to collaborate with other people, especially people that are similar to you. The only person I did anything with, really, that was like even of like moderate size would be Original Ryan. The other like larger channels that cover the game, I never did anything with them, and I 100% regret doing that because I feel like it would have definitely made sense to do that. And while I don't always agree with I guess the thing for me was like once I make a decision about somebody, I kind of like it's hard for me to change my mind. So without like saying specifically like what certain people did, there was like one person did something I was like, that's just blatantly false, and I just didn't like it. And then another person, I was kind of like, I disagree with the way they make content. But the reality is, here's the thing: you got to do what you got to do, and I don't care what you do. You have to do what's best for you. And yeah, so like I 100% regret that because there was definitely people that reached out to me and I just did not do anything with it. And it certainly kind of capped my success. I think I could have done far better if I would have done that. So number two, perfect timing. Not asking to be on the dev live stream. Now this would have been perfect during the beginning of early access before, and I'm going to get to some, before I started being like, we'll get to one of the points that's coming up in a minute. You all probably know what I'm like referencing. There was a point in time where I think I probably could have been like, hey, can I come on? And they probably would have said yes. Maybe they would still say it now, but that's irrelevant because at this point, it doesn't matter anymore. But I think that would have definitely helped out, especially early on when I started playing it and I was first starting to get like traction and people were coming to me for information. I think that would have been super helpful. So I definitely should have done that. Next is going to be criticizing design choices too much. We all know what I'm talking about here. This is going to be the implementation of upgrading gear in the game, which was specifically armor and then weapons. And this is the way I look at this. And I've kind of, after like you have to learn. There are lessons learned, right? The only way to get better at something is to be. You have to learn from your mistakes. You can criticize, but you have to be aware of your language. Before that, I think you could have been on. Yes, 100%. That's why I'm talking about this right now. It's one thing to criticize something and then just move on. Like if you looked at my recent content, there's not been a single game where I was like making 50 videos on it. Like I literally just will play a game and then I'll maybe make a video or something on it and maybe I'll talk about it once or twice. But I don't like, if you find something negative, it's fine to point it out. But at that point, you just literally like you leave it be, right? You say, here, listen, I don't agree with these things. Here's why. And that's it. And you move on. And if the things don't change, you have two decisions. You either live with it or you don't. If you live with it, you keep playing and keep your mouth shut. If you don't like it, then you just stop playing the game. It's very simple. No one's forcing you to do this. So 100%, like I'm never going to stop like pointing out flaws and things, but I'm going to be much more careful about how I say it and I would say the frequency of it. Like there's no reason to make 12 videos on the same thing, saying the same thing over and over again, or streaming for a month straight, saying the same thing over and over again, when it's not going to change. Like it's either going to change or it's not. And that's it. So I made my points on things. I know they were heard, but not the things I want to change didn't change the way I wanted them to. And of course that was selfish of me. And I know that nobody's designing a game for me. The game's not made for me. It's not made for you. It's made for it's made for as many people as possible. And ultimately video games are like art, right? Like you shouldn't criticize somebody on a painting they make. They made the painting they wanted to make. If you don't like it, don't buy it or don't look at it. Same thing with a game. You're going to make a game that is what you think is the best thing to do it. No developer is going to make a game bad. They're not going to intentionally make things bad. Even if people think that what they're doing is not right, they ultimately get to make the final decision. And that's that. Next, for early access, too many restarts. So I know it was encouraged to restart over and over again. And I feel like what happened with me was I got burnt by the time early access was over. I was burnt out on the game because I literally did the same content. We were just talking about this a couple of minutes ago about like gameplay loops of games, like specifically Helldivers 2 and then Deep Rock Galactic. If you do the same content over and over and over again, you're going to get burned out on it. Now, the average person they're not going to do that. They're not going to put 500 hours into it. But I was doing it because one of my flaws is I will typically get like, I will go over, like, I guess, what's the right term? I go like overboard on things where I become like obsessed with something. It's like, okay, I really like this game. It's the only thing I do. And that's what I do. I play that game and only that game, or whatever it else might be in life. Like, I just go for one thing and like I just go all into it to the point where it like burns me out. The average person is not going to have this happen. But I did the same content over and over again by choice. Nobody forced me to do it. I did it by choice. And then I got to the point where like I was like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. And I was kind of like, come on, man. Like I just didn't want to do it anymore. And it kind of like I got burned out on it. Along the same lines as at the same time not playing other games. If you go look, yeah, hyper focus. If you go look at my YouTube channel, there's going to be a time period where literally there are probably, I didn't count, but there's probably like 100 straight videos, maybe more, on Grounded and nothing else. Because for a long time, I was literally only playing that game. And I've done this with other games before, and I eventually get to the point where I don't want to play them. So a healthy thing to do is, even if you really like a game, is to occasionally take breaks from it. So like if you're really liking Helldivers 2 right now, I would encourage all of you to, for a couple of days, say, you know what, I'm going to go play something else, or I'm not going to play anything. It's probably not don't play anything, literally go play a different game for a couple of days just to take a break from it. Because inevitably, no matter how much you like something, you're going to burn out on it. That's just what happens. All right, now let's pivot to full release. So this is a huge regret of mine. This is an absolute huge regret of mine. And it kind of comes back to the burnout thing. I mean, most of my views every month come from my older videos. And I get people commenting all the time. They're like, man, this doesn't work anymore. I'm like, you're right, it doesn't, because it was from 2 years ago when it did work, or something's changed. I should have maximized I should have remade every single video I ever made in whatever it was, September, October of 2023, 2022. When the hell was it? Has it been that long? Jeez. Yeah, when the 1.0 hit, I literally should have redid every single video, because it would have made all the relevant stuff, like it would have been up to date, so people would have got the right information, and also I would have probably like doubled my views, honestly, maybe even tripled them. It would have been nice. What you're saying rings true. I tend to do the same thing when I like a game. I play the hell out of it and get burned out, even when I absolutely love the game. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Not enjoying the 1.0 content. So I think this was more of the fact that, like I said, I was burned out from doing the same stuff over and over again. And I'm not going to change my mind on this. The 1.0 content for me was even excluding the fact that I was burned out on the other stuff, I still felt like the first 75% of the game was the best part of the game. The end of the game to me it's for me, it's underwhelming. Like, it just is. That's fine. Like, nothing's going to be perfect. But what I should have done was just play the game, and that was it. Like, just play the game, whatever. Like, just, here it is, it's done. Like, just play the game and be happy with it, right? It is what it is. This was the decision was made how the game's going to end, and I just play it. Instead, what I did was I complained I complained so much about it. I just literally complained, and there was just no point in it, because nothing good came of it, because nothing was going to change it. So you either enjoy it or don't. If you're not going to enjoy it, just don't even bother playing it or talking about it. This was a big one. If you go look at my channel right now, you're not even going to find these things, because I literally gotten rid of all. I think I've gotten rid of all of them. I'm pretty sure I've gotten rid of all of them. After I was frustrated with after I was disappointed at the 1.0 release, I then decided that I was going to, every time I ran into any little minor thing, make a YouTube short out of it, showing off every technical issue that I ever came across. After having played, and now that I've played many other games since then, every game has these problems. Every single game has these problems. Every single one of them. They literally just do. I cannot tell you a game I've played since then that does not have some type of technical issue, especially with AI. Literally, like Nightingale, the AI in Nightingale, it's not great. It was worse. I don't know. Maybe they changed it from the tech. What was it? The stress test build. It was really bad, and then it seems to be a little bit better, but it's still pretty bad. Like, it's just really easy to get things, like, to have things happen that aren't supposed to happen, because you can't test everything. And then especially, like, unless you build a game where everything is a completely flat surface, things are going to get stuck that are not supposed to happen. So I 100% regret doing that, because here's the reality. I had so many negative comments and stuff that it kind of, like, I'm not going to say it upset me, because I'll be honest, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. I really just don't. It doesn't bother me. if I go read my YouTube comments right now, I think a lot of you, if you read them, some of you would probably be like, damn, I wouldn't do this, because I get so many hateful comments, especially on my Helldivers 2 stuff. But like on the clips back then, it was literally just like, it was so much negativity, and it was like, why am I doing this? I should have never posted that shit, because there was nothing good coming out of it. You know what I should have probably done with it was, here's what I should have did. I should have clipped it and then emailed it as a help ticket to get it fixed. That's what I should have did. Because I did that with other stuff. I know I pointed out certain things that were broken and never mentioned them. I can't remember what they were at this point. I know I found something that was broken and it got fixed. But like this, like that's the kind of stuff. There's no benefit of pointing out mistakes that people have made, because they didn't do them intentionally, right? No developer makes a game. The developer didn't program, hey, I'm going to make sure this stupid bug gets stuck on this rock and just stands there and lets you kill it. They're not thinking that, because nobody wants that to happen. And if they could fix it, they would fix it, right? So that's that. This is going to be the last one. Saying I was quitting the game. This is literally just like, I don't know why I did this more than once, by the way, because I've done it more than one time. I've done it at least 2 or 3 times. I'm not playing the game anymore. I'm done. I'm not going to play it. I did it not after 1.0, but like shortly after I said I wasn't playing it. Then I came back for like whenever the infected brewmother came back, and then I stopped playing again. And then again, not that long ago, I made another video that says I wasn't playing it anymore. Now I'm not playing the game. That's fine. I have not played the game. It's not installed. I don't want to play it right now. I have plenty of other things that I want to play in the next, like, this year. So there's no plans on playing it. But like, that's literally just like, yeah. I mean, those are kind of like, those are a lot. Like, those are the things I can think of. If anybody can think of anything else that I haven't talked about, feel free to share them, because I will definitely own up to them. Now that I work in games, I always ask my friends if they reported the bug when they were playing. Yeah, I mean, people just don't. Most people don't find this stuff. There is a difference between listening and doing what you want. Oh, 100%, I know. And like I said, I'm not the video game genius here. My opinion is just one of a million or several million or whatever the bucket of people is. So it's okay to give your opinion, and that's it. There's no point in beating your opinion, like, or repeating your opinion 100 times over to a large audience, and then causing consternation amongst other people. To the I mean, I guess I would say this. I feel like I guess a good analogy will be, for me. So this is what ended up happening. This is probably still the case right now. So this is me. And I'm sure I mean, some of the people that watch me are probably in the same boat. This is literally most people. Most of you. So most of you are over on this island over here. And I isolated myself over here because of how I handled I guess basically the way I communicated my frustrations and my selfishness. So that kind of yeah, it kind of sucks. It definitely didn't help me in the long run. I mean, I know people respect me because I literally just will say whatever I want, because it doesn't really, like, again, YouTube's not my job. So if my channel like disappeared tomorrow, it'll be like, okay, what is, whatever. I'll have more free time to play video games. But like, YouTube's not my job. So I guess even if it was, I probably wouldn't care, because I don't believe in sugarcoating things, but I certainly need to work on the delivery. This is not just like on YouTube either. This is literally feedback that I've gotten probably for my entire life. A lot of times it's not what I say, it's how I say it. Sometimes it's what I say, because I'm usually very blunt, but it's definitely how I say things. And like, I guess coming off as if I like know more than everybody else, which certainly I don't know more than the person making I can't tell you how to make your thing, right? Just like you can't come to me and tell me how you make your thing. Like, if you came to me and were like, you should make videos like this, that's fine. I'll listen to what you're saying, but ultimately it's up to me to decide whether I do that or not. But yeah, I kind of isolated myself, and it certainly hurt because, again, like, it doesn't hurt my feelings, because I don't really, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it would have certainly been nice, like, if I typed in a chat somewhere, like in the dev live stream, if people were like, oh, hey, what's going on? Like, I see other people when they would type in the chat, everybody like loves them because they were overly positive about everything, which to some extent is not really helping, especially during early access. During early access, you should certainly provide feedback that points out issues and flaws and bugs and stuff like that. A lot of people don't do that because they just want to say super positive, which I guess is almost equally unhelpful, but at the same time, they don't burn bridges. So there's probably no bridge right here, right? So we have the little bridge between the islands. And this thing literally for me is like, it's like up in flames. So that isn't, those people criticize as well. I know there's certain people that literally never say anything negative, but it is what it is. You don't get the emails or see everything or have access to all the data. So perhaps they're doing it privately and not doing it publicly. But I think, listen, I guess what this is all leading back to is like going forward, I'm still, if I come across something that is like, I'll be honest, if I play a game and it's absolute dog shit, like absolute dog shit, I'm going to tell you not to play it. I'm not going to insult the developers. I'm not going to say it's dog shit. I'll just say it in other words. I'll be like, I played this game and here's why I would not recommend playing it. And that's it. And then move on. I'm not going to make 12 videos on the same game saying it's bad. Like, there's just no benefit of that. I'm not going to make a 40-minute rant of me complaining about something that is already known. And there's just no point in doing that. So that's how it's going to be. Like, I'm never going to change who I am in terms of like honesty. You will never see me say like, I'm not going to say a game's great when it's just not, when I don't think it is. And I'm not going to say something's bad when when it's not bad. Like, that's just not going to happen. I'm going to be more careful about how I say things and I guess like what I do going forward, because yeah, burning bridges kind of sucks. I know there's people like that I 100% did not get along with within the Grana community, and for me that's water under the bridge. I have no ill will towards anybody, regardless of whether or not I agree or disagree with how you carry yourself on YouTube or in general. You do what you got to do for yourself, and I do what I have to do for myself, and that's that. So I have no ill will towards anybody. Hopefully everybody's enjoying whatever they're playing, and hopefully I'll have like best of luck to them in the future or whatever. Maybe our paths will cross sometime for some of these people, and if the time comes and the time's right, then we'll see what happens.